So in today's 6 minutes, we are going to add basic movement inputs to our character. So the progress we made so far is that our character can jump and we can look around. So we are going to add some just basic movement to our character. So we are going to quickly open our content browser and the characters, and we open our player. And the first thing for us to be able to add movement input to our character, we can call this important function right here. It's called add movement input. Yeah, so basically this is our node today, and we are going to basically use this to be able to maneuver our character around the scene. So quickly we'll find our context where we did our input context, and we had this input action called look around. What I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate the look around and rename it to move around. So it will just bear the same properties as the look around, only that this time around we are going to use it to move our character as opposed to looking around. I also want to add the jump input action, so I'll just call it jump. It's also important if you name this as easy as you can, so that you don't get a lot of conflicts in when you're trying to look for inputs. So quickly we'll start with jump. So I just want, when we press jump, so you'll notice we have enhanced action inputs here called jump. So we want to call jump when we release our button. So I'll just call jump. Yeah, and we mapped it to our enhanced input. And on move around, you'll notice also in jump we are passing like a 2D vector. So I'm gonna change it to quick and set it to a digital bool. Save it. When we go back to our character, we can see it's now a boolean, and when we call the move around input action events, move around, we can see we have a 2D vector. So since we are going to be moving in two directions, basically in the x and y axis, x being our front axis and y being our right and left, we are going to call the movement input twice. One we're going to bind it on the x and the other on the y direction. So basically our right and left. So I'm going to pick the action value and break it so that we fit our x straight to the first scalar value and our y to the second scalar value. So we can just space them for a moment so that we have like a good place to do our code, and I'll hook that to trigger. And so basically in the y direction is where we're going to set up where we're going to move in the direction which we're going to move. So what I usually do just for starting up, I'll just grab the y direction, and since I'm moving, I'm using the x value, I'm going to get the forward vector. Get forward vector, it is correct. And then I'm going to I'm going to get this y direction and call get right vector, which is cool. And you notice that we have like another empty slot to fill, that's in our rotation. So for now we can just put get control rotation, and also here we're going to get control rotation. Yeah, and that's our script for moving our player. So it's very basic, it's not advanced. And to test this out, we are going to map our created inputs in our input context. Remember, we created this input context, or we created this input context in begin play. So I'm going to search for it in our content browser and click open the default. We only have look around. We're going to add jump first of all, jump, and when we click the down drop, and we can select here and search for space. The alternative is to press this button and then press the button that you want to bind it to. Yeah, so after adding jump, we're going to add move around, and we are going to add like 4 keys for us to move. So the first one will be W for moving in front, S for moving back, D for moving right, and A for moving left. So you also notice that we want to be able to move in the opposite direction when we press S. So on W and S, we are going to use like one modifier. Since S is the opposite of W, we are going to negate the value of S to make it be like the opposite of moving in the forward direction. So when we test it out, we can look around. So when I click W, we are moving in front, and when I click S, we are moving back. So you'll notice that when I press D and A, we are still moving in front. So quickly, let's fix that. And the quick fix is to add another modifier on D and name it to wall space, which does like gives us the other axis. We want to use like the y-axis, so we can use to wall space, and also do that for A to wall space. Also, since A is like the negative of D, we can negate it so that we move in the opposite direction. And when we test it out, compile and save, then hit play, you can see when I press D, I can move right, A, I can move left, I can look around with my mouse, I can jump, and that's really great progress. So see you again.